It is now August 16th, 2017 at 12:36 a.m. give or take a minute, a few seconds, blah 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 blah. Itchy. Just got finished recording you one. Thought I would pick up something else because that got it to be an hour long, and something popped in my mind about as I was closing that one down that I wanted to talk to you about. I don't know what all you're going to find, what all you're going to discover throughout going through shit. I want you to go through shit. I want you to learn how to research. I want you to watch this stuff. Learn a little bit more about your brother that you may not know. One of the things I want you to know, though, is at some point in here, if I tell you to stop the video and save it for the last, watch everything else first and then come back to his, please do. I'm not sure where my thoughts are going to lead me. I'm just going to be talking here a little bit. And getting high. So, when you get stoned, become a decent listener. Just pull up a bowl, load it, smoke with me. Matter of fact, I'll load a fresh one. One of the things I want to talk to you about is my kids. What you decide to tell them, you decide to tell them. It really doesn't matter to me. What you decide to share with them is what you decide to share with them. It really doesn't matter to me either. Tammy and Helios. I know you don't understand yet. Not sure if you ever will. Hopefully you never really do. Tammy and Helios meant the world to me. When it comes to Tammy, I felt a lot of guilt. And I don't mean just after she died. I mean, ever since I first got a hold of her, I found out what happened to her for the first 4.5 years, almost 5 years of her life. I felt so much guilt and pain over that she had to suffer like that. And I swore that I would never let her be hurt if I was able to prevent it. I would give her whatever I could to keep her happy and to make up for what I feel that I allowed to happen by leaving her with a mentally ill person like I did. Out of all my daughters, Tammy brought me the most joy, most happiness. I saw the most growth in. To come back from that trauma, was amazing. I missed a lot of cues. I missed a lot of things. I mistook a lot of things. But I could honestly say I did my best to keep her happy. Gave her anything and everything that she ever wanted, as long as I knew it wasn't going to hurt her so severely that she couldn't recover from it. Examples why I let her do certain drugs and told her she couldn't do others, and things like that. Never treated Tammy really as a child. You know, kind of treated her equally, you know, as a peer. You know, she was old enough to ask the question. She was old enough, mature enough to hear the truth as I saw it, or that I could show her. It meant she grew up fast, more faster than other kids. And it also turned out to bring us a lot closer together. I could honestly say that nobody knew me better other than myself. She knew me, and I knew her pretty damn well. Not as well as I thought, but also not as little as most parents do with their kids. We were happy together. And then when Helios came in, that completed her world. Well, almost completed it. There was one thing missing. And the funny thing is it wasn't a guy. She wanted a daughter. She wanted a little boy and a little girl. And she learned what she meant to me when she had Helios. Which, that was the moment I lost Tammy. And I wouldn't have had it any other way. You know, because I understand that. I know that. You understand that. You know. For me, when Tammy came into this world, she was my world. That was it for me. Baby, little Tammy, little Lola, was my world, my life. Bad song playing, makes me sad. It's called Letters from Home, if you're wondering. If you even hear it, I don't know if you hear it. But, she's my world. When Helios was born, Helios became her world. Well, that's not how she put it. She would tell me that I'm her world, but Helios is her son. I understood, her meaning, the sun heats the world, the world revolves around the sun because our lives revolved around him. She didn't understand it. And then, in that turnabout, she was my son. Wasn't nothing I wouldn't do for her. Read that however you want. There wasn't anything I wouldn't do for her. She beat me to the punch. Me, I think of everything. I plan for contingencies. And she knew that I would have taken out, why am I splitting words, why am I using euphemisms, blah blah blah, metaphors. I would have killed the CPS inspector, investigator. I would have killed the doctor. And I was well on the way of having that plan set in motion. And after I did that, I would have killed myself. After leaving a full confession for everything. Would have protected her. Would have saved her in Helios. But she beat me to the punch. How much do you say? How much do you talk about when you know you're going to kill yourself? How do you really want people to remember you? What all do you really say? Leave you innuendos? Always leave that little room for doubt? Don't know. Tammy and Helios passed. My world ended. Wondering in my head at times. When I wound up in the hospital due to pneumonia, cyanide poisoning, was that did I die then? And swap realities again then? Or was I so depressed and so down and just lost my will to live? And when it got close, I chickened out and fought and came back. Don't get me wrong, I don't think I'm going to go see that. It'll be great. Oh God, it'd be fantastic if as soon as I die, if they're there waiting to greet me. Beautiful. I don't expect it. Not really even really planning that they would be. And I don't know what's going to happen. You know. But our, at least I can be content with knowing that she left the world knowing that I did everything for her. You know what I mean. I mean, I did everything for her. I did everything I could for her. You know, try to keep her happy. Try to make her life as stress-free as possible. Give her as much freedom so she can go out and still do things if she chose to. She had everything she wanted. Up there until the end. Like I said, she wanted a daughter. So she was sitting there and she was looking for a father. Had the guy picked out and everything, that Eric guy. I think that's his name. Can't remember off the top of my head right now. Especially since my boss's name is Eric. But she had that one guy who was out there at the hospital and everything. You know, they were hitting it off good. And the fucking dude was cool as hell. He was a smart guy. Very intelligent. Had a lot of experiences. You know, knew what he wanted. Knew what he was doing. Tammy was good. He liked Tammy. He liked Helios. Helios liked him. One time they met, they hit it off. Even though he was sick. Helios was sick, and because they met in the hospital. You know, for Helios to hit it off with someone there when he was feeling that bad. We hit it off, you know, he's a real good guy. Trusted him enough with my daughter to tell him that, you know, if anything happens to me, you know, I don't expect him to marry her or anything like that, but I do expect him to stay in her life and at least look after her like he would a sister. And he understood and agreed. You know. I confessed to him what I was thinking about taking other people out. It's how much I trusted him, knowing him for such a short amount of time. And Tammy was hoping to introduce us once she got the relationship a little bit more secured, her feelings in it. You know, which I fully understood. Would have been so nice if that all worked out. She would have just let me do what I was thinking. But I don't regret doing anything that I did. Because if I changed anything, I wouldn't have something. And I don't see any way, anything I could have gone back and changed and made different that wouldn't have wound up where we ended up. at some point. I don't know. You know, Andrea is a disappointment to me. I thought I raised her better than this. Thought I had her long enough to raise her better than this. Cherokee I didn't have long enough or enough of an influence on, or early enough, or even now, to make her feel anything. It upsets me that she'll never know the real truth about anything. But that's her own decision. She had the chance to learn, and she didn't want to know. It upsetted her because it was different than what she was told all her life. So I understand Cherokee. I don't like it, I don't agree with it, but I understand Cherokee. Andrea, I don't understand. I don't comprehend. I would have loved to have at least a conversation, one last conversation with her. But that's not going to happen. I don't like that, but that's what she's chosen, so I was hoping that we would have the chance, but we won't. Andrea is my biggest disappointment out of my kids. Cody, we can't count Cody. I haven't had any influence on him whatsoever. He's a Griffith by blood only. And genetics. If you get a chance, Itchy, you might want to make an effort to get a hold of his little ass. Because you know me, he might need some help. But as for Andrea, I would love to know what happened to her to cause her to change the way she changed during the divorce. You know, I don't know what caused her to be like she is. You know, I do have to admit at least some little integrity still stuck in her. Some lessons stuck. But others, she just kicked out the window. I mean, I question her morals. You know, I know mine. And I know I breached mine once. For a section in my life. Where I had to set my morals aside. Or I couldn't live with myself. You know, what do you do in a situation like that? When love overrules your morals. Now, I understand, you know, love for your dog, love for your gun, love for your country, love for your spouse should never overrule your morals. You know, base things you ground yourself on. You know, this is it. This is how you are. This is your philosophies. This is how you think. This is what you believe. Just grab all of that. Set it off to the side. And do something else that you know is against all of that. Just because this person asks you to. You know, what do you do? How far do you go? For someone that you're living for, that was tortured in the past, so you know they're broken, and you hate that, hate it. Make that person happy, because she's your world. She means everything. She was dealt a bad experience. How do you make it up to her? They ask for something that you can't do. What do you do? I don't know. What do you do? Does it diminish how much you love him if you don't? Does it show how much more you do love him if you do? Does it show how much you don't love him because you gave up your morals and didn't teach him a lesson? Showed him it's okay to do black and white. There's no such thing. It all depends. I would do things for Tammy and Helios that I wouldn't even consider doing for anyone else. I mean, I wouldn't even have to think about it. They ask me and it's like, yes. You know, as long as I know and understand that it's not going to hurt them or anyone else truly. You know, some life's lessons, there's pain involved, and you gotta go, if you're gonna walk that route, you're gonna go through it. Like when Tammy got into bath salts, all I could do is walk by her side, hold her hand, and help her go through it, and make sure she didn't have to experience a road to an extreme. I knew I had the knowledge to be able to pull her back. You know, she had someone there that she knew she could trust to pull her back. So she had the freedom to be able to give away and explore to a bad degree. You know, she was at the point of where I'm glad they made it illegal, because that limited her access to it. But if it would have been meth, she would have had the underground connections and everything else, because it was already an illegal thing, and she wasn't willing to start looking into that route just to satisfy the withdrawals that she was going to be suffering through. She would have been on borderline of being what we call a meth whore, you know. She'd fuck somebody to get bath salts. She was right on that edge of being hooked that bad. And if I wouldn't have pulled her back in, you know, if I just let her keep going, that's where she would have been. She would have been on meth. She would have lost Helios. She would have been a meth whore. You know? And it's not like I gave her the idea to try it. She brought it home and go, Dad, I want to do this. And it's like, you know the rules. If before you do anything, she goes, that's why I brought it home, Dad. Here, I want to do this. So I did it first, so I knew what to expect, what doses she should take and everything else, and let her know where this road leads, and what to expect if she decides to do this, what route it's going to go. And she decided to walk it, and I was right there with her. I knew how to pull her back. Told her when I saw her that it had a hold of her. Well, actually, I told her before when I saw that it was starting to get a hook. You know, when it was no longer, I'm doing it for fun, she just started, it was no longer, I'm doing it for fun, it's now I want to do it. It wasn't quite yet I needed to do it, as I wanted to do it. And that's when I first spoke with her and told her, it's starting to get a little bit out of hand. You might want to think about stopping and getting control over it. Then she got to the point of where it was a need and a desire. Then I had to sit her down, told her, you're an addict. Remember, this is where it's leading. I told you this is where it's going to lead. I'm not going to let you get to that point. When you reach here, this is the choices you're going to have to make. She didn't believe me, jug at it. She was just that point, reaches bottom, not rock bottom, but bottom. So you can see that the problems is causing all around us and everything else. And that's when I made her stop. Told her, no more. You're done. Now you are going to, instead of learning through slow withdrawals, going off, you're just done. You don't get no more. You're not going to give you access. You're not out of my sight until your withdrawals are done, and blah, 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 blah. And helped her through her withdrawals and everything else. She saw what that all costed us and everything else, and that's when she moved in with you guys. Because we lost everything. But I got my Tammy back, drug free. Saw her suffer through a lot. The Morgellons shit is bad. My old brother didn't believe me. At least you understand. At least you know it's real. He didn't even know it was real. Didn't believe it was real. Didn't want to look to see if anything about it was real. And fuck. But I miss my girl. I miss my boy. You know, miss sitting there playing puppets with him. Hell, I just miss sitting there watching TV with knowing that he's right there. Just reach over. He's right there. My right side. I grab his foot. Bite it. His mom, Tammy, right there. Reach over like that. Put my hand on her head. Push her. Reach up, grab Helios, pull him down, all the way off the sofa. Oh, I miss him. And if it wasn't for Dad, oh man, I wouldn't have made it as far as I did. And for him to understand and know and realize, you know, he's not my father from my reality. This one became my friend. Not just my dad, but my friend. Talk to him about anything and everything. You know? And I got this thing with women now. Well, I didn't see Tammy as a woman. She was my friend. She's my... Don't even call her my daughter, really. She was my companion. She was my friend. Go as far as saying she was my partner. My wife in every way. I can honestly say that my time with her, since leaving Amanda, up to the day she died, were more happy than they were bad. You know, I'm not going to say they were all happy. But we were happy. We were both happy. Not content. You know, there's a difference. You know, we're content and no. We were happy. Not many people can say that. We were actually happy. Had problems, had concerns, had difficulties. But at the end of the day, and at the beginning of every day, we knew no matter what, we had each other. We would always be loved. We would always be cared for. We would always have somebody there for us. We're never alone. We'll have somebody on our side. We're there. Don't have to ask. Don't have to think. Don't have to wonder, will they be there? Would they be there? Could they be there? No. They're there. No, we didn't agree on everything. We had a lot of disagreements, but that's what made it great. You know, we thought a lot alike, yes. We didn't think alike. She had her own opinions, own thoughts, stuck by them, but she had an open mind and she was willing to learn. And as I discovered, she took the stuff I gave her, the little breadcrumbs, and went and baked a loaf of bread. You know what I mean, Itchy. The spiritual shit. I just think, man, if she was able to go from not knowing anything, well, she knew a little bit, the Wiccan things, you know, she had some certain concepts, but you have certain concepts too, certain basics, and you have a memory, you know what goes on. Now you're going to have the power that's stacked onto what you have hereditary. She's my world. I miss her. Love her. And him, he should be a gimme, you know? Don't know how to say my feelings for him. You know, love doesn't really fit. Because there's more than love. I don't know. He's my little man. He's my boy. My first grandchild. You know, I understand what mom and dad made me, you know. Grandbaby, yeah. You know. I think Tammy's is right, you know. Tammy was my world. But this thing encompassed my world, you know. It's just to sit there and see the enjoyment and the happiness that this little thing brings to your world. And on the flip side of that, the pain, the frustration, the anger that this little thing gives your world. You know, I mean, him could get away with anything, you know. I used to think Tammy was bad because she can get away with a lot. I was always on her side. Nowhere near what you and Tommy were with Stephanie. You know, that's a whole different level. But I understand that level now. You know, I grasp it to a certain extent. Okay? And I'll explain that here, or it will be explained here. You know, to see that happiness given to Tammy, to my world, her world, gave her. He got everything. When he wanted attention, it was given. When he didn't want attention, he was left alone. If Helios wasn't happy, nobody was happy. Because Helios is upset means his mom's upset, which means my world is pissed. Stars are gonna rage. Pride and envy in that little boy, on watching him develop and learn on how to manipulate the world. I mean, I thought Tammy could manipulate me. She was good at it. She really, really was. And to watch that turned around and played on her by him, the only thing that would have made me happier was if he was fine up, running around, and oh my God, what that would have done to her. Not just the happiness and enjoyment that would have brought to her life, but the frustration and the, what is he into now? What he would have brought home and hid in his room. She used to bring home dead birds. He knows what he would have done. I have no words to explain him. She's right. He was everything. You know, he took priority. And don't get me wrong, I ran a real fucking close second. As I saw it, in her eyes, the way she did things, I ran a real fucking close second. She always put herself last. She grew up seeing me put myself last. But him, he wouldn't accept anything other than first. Well, first was the bare minimum he would accept. Normally, he had to have a head start, be placed on a pedestal. You know, it's not just carry him on your shoulders over the finish line. You got to put him in a cart on a parade boat where that you're pushing from behind, so he's way ahead. And when it came to his mom, oh man, talk about possessive. When they say that they're 10 times worse than their parents, so Tammy was possessive of me, yeah. I never realized how much until after all the wives were gone and she was able to truly talk freely and everything else. Oh yeah, I found how possessive she really was. And him, not alone not wanting her out of his sight, but let alone anyone shows her any affection. Especially if you didn't show him any first. And his grandparent or his great-grandparents didn't help him out at all when they would fight over who'd get him first. Who got Helios first? Well, whoever didn't got Tammy. I came in last. And I was so happy with that. And the joy that little man and that girl brought Grumps. Love and affection that boy heaped on that old man, that bond that they had, fuck. And the closeness and the love that he felt for Tammy and Tammy felt for him. I can say I felt it because Helios loved me too. I was his second. Tammy's third. Helios, then Grumps, then me. But I had the benefits. Grump wasn't always around. Here at Grandma and Grandpa's, it went Helios, Grumps, Grandma, me. No. Helios, man. Intelligent. So happy. Not all the time. You know. Not stupid, not deluded enough to sit there and try to say, oh, he never cried, he never had a sad day, he had his times. He had more than his share, especially with the time he had to he spent in the hospitals and the doctor visits, and all the things that he hated, you know. So we had to make sure that his time together with us, you know, time in the world, was happy and learning and ecstatic and exciting and, you know, entertaining. She was a good mom. She gave her life for her son, literally. And I was a fucked up dad because I didn't give my life for them when I should have. And it's taken me so long to get back to him. You know, if time is faster on the other side, you know, depending on how you want to look at it. Excuse me. If you want to look at it, we know time doesn't run the same here as it does there. There's one philosophy that every day there is thousands or millions of years here. And then there's another philosophy and thought patterns that every day there is a minuscule, minute millisecond of time here. You know, for example, when they say you go down to hell, like in Lucifer, the show, the one detective died, he spent about 30 seconds in hell. To him, it was like 30 years. As he kind of saw it in a roundabout way, it's like 30 years. But that didn't stay canon throughout the series, I noticed. But still, there is that philosophy, you know, even in, what do you call it, Constantine, you know, time in the underworld moves slower there, or faster there than it does in the real world. So, if you look at it, that time moves slower here and faster in the spirit world, in the next realm, then she may not even be processed through her death yet. She still may be waiting to go through all of that stuff, or however it works. And time here is just going by at a fast rate, or it could be hundreds of years have passed there already, and nothing, or a century or two has passed there, or a millennia has passed there already for her and Helios, and only a year has passed for us. So, you know, who knows how it runs. Or it could be the other philosophy where she did go out and she did create her own world and did that for Helios. You know, so there's also that to take in consideration, you know, and what freedom and reality and how far does that really extend, and does she have access to new ones coming in, and, you know, it all depends. I don't know yet, but I do miss my world. I miss my boy. And what's funny is, you know, if you say, well, would ask, well, which one do you miss more? Well, I knew Tammy longer. But from the time that Helios came into this world, from the time that he was conceived to the time that he died, I didn't see him as separate, really. They were one. They were always together. You know, you didn't see Tammy without Helios. You didn't really see Helios without Tammy. You know, very, very, very rarely was it ever just me and Helios. And never, maybe once or twice, was it just, okay, a handful of times, was it ever just Helios. Me or Tammy wasn't there. You know. The reason I say that is because I can count 2 times, 3 times hospital that were due to the hospital. And I really can't recall any time outside of a hospital that Helios was ever left alone where it wasn't me or Tammy there. So, yeah, Helios, I don't see them differently. I guess that's why I really had them mixed. Because for all of Helios' life, they were one. All of Helios' life, they were together. And I guess the reason I want to be mixed with her is because the 3 of us together, when we were just the 3 of us, you know, at home, sitting around doing nothing, we were happy. Sitting around, going out doing something, as long as it was the 3 of us together, we were happy. As long as we weren't going, the only time we felt really dread is when we had to go pay rent. When we had to go to the go and see doctors, that was the worst. Other than that, going to court for Tammy's accident, I didn't feel good. But, you know, together we were happy most of the time. You know, we didn't do anything that we didn't do together. And not because we couldn't, it's because we didn't want to. We wanted to be together. Yeah, you know, I don't know how much you're going to be reading into this. I'm going to put this video as one of your last ones. I don't know how much you're going to read into this, how much truth you're really going to pull out of this, especially with the new gift you're going to have. But just know, regardless of what truth you glean or what you believe is true compared to what reality is of what really happened, bottom line is they were happy. You know, The majority of Helios's life was a happy life. The majority of Tammy's parental life was a happy life. I would say everything from after our divorce, mine and Amanda's divorce, on was her happiest time of her life. It was when she was her happiest. And I can't feel guilty about that. I shouldn't feel guilty about that. I was a good parent to her. I made her happy. I kept her happy. Regardless of how anyone sees it, how anyone thinks, she was happy. And I was happy. We made each other happy. And Helios was just icing on the cake. You know? How can I give any of that up? How could I even think about trying to replace it? No one compares to them. You know, how do you fit 24 years, 25 years of growing together into something new? That would have the feelings that were there. You know, you got the love and bond of father and daughter, and the bond of companion and partner. You know, you have it all. Didn't need anything else. Didn't want anything else. You know, to say anything that even compares to even a shadow of them is an insult. You know, comparing them with anybody is like trying to compare the brightness of the sun, of a supernova, the brightest thing in the known or unknown, to a shit. Don't know anything minuscule enough. Than the light given off by a firefly at high noon. They meant everything. No one compares. You know, neither one of my other daughters I would do for them what I'd done for Tammy. Wouldn't have even crossed my mind, couldn't have even consider it. We weren't close like that. We didn't have that guilt. You know, I don't know. All I do know is that they were my everything, and that I'm done without them. You know, that's about it. You know, it's getting late. Talked enough for now. Tomorrow night's the night. Will this be my last night of sleep? I think so. Well, at least sleep I'll wake up from. Now this is scary. But I put it off enough. Time to go see what happens. Go to a place where you can't tell a lie. You have to face up. If that's the way it is over there. Or maybe I'll be creating my own world. Or maybe I'll search and grow and go hunting for Tammy and Helios. And see what their world's like. See what they're doing. Go search a couple of eternities bouncing around to find them. Or maybe I'll just completely forget about everything. I don't know. We'll find out soon. Wish I would be able to get word back to you. Let you know if it's scary. Oh no, it's scary. Even if I knew that it was peace and beauty and everything I could possibly imagine happiness is over there, getting there is still scary. So, I guess that's why it sucks. I don't know. Because if we have been down here, that means I've died before. And I've gone through this, so I shouldn't be scared. It's kind of hard to walk through the door. You can almost see the door. You walk into it, it's scary. When you see it, that's when you're going to know. Well, actually, you'll know as soon as you open that door, and you'll know if you're going to step through or not. If you're going to have the strength. And I can see the door down the hall. Just rounded the corner. Just around the corner to see my death door, Richie. It's Wednesday the 16th. 17th around this time. Oh, no. It'll be the 18th around this time. On the 17th, when I've started your other video, I'll be getting everything set up. I'm scared. I am. I hope I have the strength that my daughter has. She had to have more. She had to take her son's life before she took her own. That'd be like me having to kill mom before I kill myself. Or mom killing me before she kills herself. You know. I guess that's the way I should look at it. What I'm doing is hard, yeah, but it's nowhere even close to the difficulty she did. Guess I should admire her even more than I already do. Hope this doesn't bother you. It's probably going to bother you, but hey, it's the truth and I shouldn't be here anymore, so sorry. Hope you understand that. Not sorry for what happened. I'm sorry for upsetting you, hurting you. Insert emotion here. Or negative emotion here. If you're happy, if you're content, it makes you more understanding, blah, 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 then great, I'm happy about that. But if it hurt you, upset you, pissed you off, blah, 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 I'm not happy about that and I apologize. No, bro. That's it for now. This is an hour and 11 minutes plus. Love you. See you someday. Goodbye.